Hello. Hello, everyone. Hi. Hello. Can
Hi.
someone say something? Hello.
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 Oh, okay. Thanks for joining us this afternoon or morning or night, wherever you are. Okay, so today we have three speakers with us today, with who's Shangi, Nui, and Jirawat. So we'll be talking about Firebase today with three Firebase experts. Firebase, whoa! Firebase shirts.
Yes.
Firebase!
Let's have a quick group photo. Whoa, Firebase.
Woohoo!
Woo! Okay, nice.
Hi,
Okay,
everyone.
so our first speaker today will be Xiangyi. So Xiangyi, are you ready? So Xiangyi, today we'll be
Yep.
talking about Firebase tips and tricks for the web. And yeah, and the game just now, which was a very fun Dino game, it was actually made by Xiangyi like last night, 2 nights ago, and he was testing it like half an hour ago as well. Pretty fun. Okay, cool. Let's start, Xiangyi. I'll pass it over to you now.
Yep.
Okay.
Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Shang Yi. Yeah. So you all just played the Dino game, right? I hope it was a fun little experience on what Firebase can help you with. So just to give you a little bit of insight, the Dino game was actually entirely made on Firebase. Yeah. So hopefully, maybe I can share the source out sooner so that you can try to make your own. Okay, let's get to business. Today, I'm here to talk to you about Firebase tips and tricks for the web. So this topic itself is intermediary level. So we'll go through a few things. Today, we're going to talk about some tips and tricks you should know about all these Firebase products, ranging from Firestore, real-time database, Firebase hosting, and most importantly, you want to optimize read and writes for Firestore and real-time database. So as a web developer, if you're using Firebase to help you save or read data to scale, yeah, I hope these tips and tricks might help you out. So let's get started. So the first thing, let's go through some Firestore tips and tricks. So let's say you have a Firestore, right, that contains a collection of projects, right? So each of these projects have some statuses. In this case, we have not started, completed, in progress, and dropped statuses. So as a developer, if I want to be able to get the completed and in progress statuses, I can easily write a query to just pull the status that we want. So in this case, we have this query here. So where the status is completed or in progress. So this will actually return these two records out to you, right? So let's go to the next slide. So let's say imagine instead of just returning this, now I want to retrieve any other statuses besides other than completed and in progress. That would mean as a developer, you would need to actually know all the possible statuses that these projects can have, and you can query them using the in condition as well. So with this query, it seems to be slightly troublesome because now we will need to query based on what we have instead of what we can exclude. So this is where Firebase Firestore SDK can help you out, which is to use the new not in operator. So this was just released like 2 or 3 weeks ago. So let's take a look at for an example. So let's say going back to our project documents, you have now, I just want to return everything besides completed and in progress. You can now use the not in itself to give you the results that you need. Pretty easy, right? So the next thing is we also have a new not equals to operator. So for example, if I want everything that is not equals to completed, you can actually now do it on Firestore. Previously, on the older case, you are not able to do that. Now you can just equally use the not equals to operator, and you can get anything besides the completed. So that's some of the few tips, new tricks that you can learn on Firestore. So let's take a look at real-time database tips. So a question that is often asked is how do we actually increase a number atomically? So what does this actually mean? For example, I want to increase a sequence number one by one. Uh, and this usually is fine, but in a large scale environment, you have competing numbers that is racing to get a number that is unique to each record. So let's say you have 10,000 records, I should have each record uniquely ordered by the number from 1 to 10,000. So how would you actually do it at the moment with a real-time database? So in order to make sure that it is atomic, as in it doesn't have duplicate values between two different nodes in real-time database, you will need to create a transaction like this and set it like that. So one example you can use is that, for example, you have a node called post, and the post has number of likes. So let's imagine your app has allows people to like a post, and we want the post numbers to increase individually. So if you have 10 items, 10 users clicking on the like at the same time, the number of likes should be 10 instead of everyone competing for the same like. This is where transaction comes in. However, let me just show you a new trick you can use to get this done much easier. So we can also use the server value.increment method. This server value.increment has been introduced in Firestore quite some time ago, but it was just recently introduced in real-time database. So let's take a look how we can actually use it. So instead of earlier on where you will need to create a transaction and set it like this, you can easily just set the increment value as such, firebase.database.serverValues.increment by 1, and it will increase it atomically. In this way, you don't actually need to retrieve the value of the existing likes. Everything is done directly on Firebase itself. So this is a much faster way for you to actually do increment, because you are actually not creating any transactions on your site, and there's no waiting on the on the real-time database side to actually increase the values to make sure they are always unique. So besides this, let's take a look at security rules changes and which you can apply. So now the security rules includes a playground. So you can actually play with your security rules by interacting with it, by highlighting and hovering syntaxes and statements that you have, and you can actually see the results being evaluated so that you can easily debug issues. Of course, a much more better way to test your security rules is to always test it on your local environment. So besides this, let's take a look at some other changes that we have. So let's take a look at a example of security rule that I want to write. I want to only allow people to write to the database if the only changes is made to the like field of a post. So let's say a social media app, you have a post that may contain comments, may contain the post message itself, and you just want other users that is besides the poster of the post to like the post itself only. So let's take a look at what you can do. So with new changes in security rules, we have now Map Diff methods that you can try out. These are some of the Map Diffs that we can take a look at, and we will go through one example on how to use that. So now we have able to detect which keys has been added into your node before the security rule applies, and what was removed and what was changed, what was affected, and whether you can actually check whether any number of changes to the keys can be easily determined as such. So let's take a look at the example. Right. Let's say you will have an update to a specific node, and you only want to see that only allow the person to update this particular node if the only affected keys here is A, for example. So if the user updates something else like the created user or something else, then this security rule will fail and prevent the user from actually writing to the database. So it's much easier to differentiate as to which keys are affected before the write is written to the real-time database. So the next thing I want you guys to take a look at as functions in the security rules. So suppose you have a function in security rules and it's written like this. You want to be able to check a permission of a particular user before actually allowing them to write. So in this example, we're just checking to make sure the user is authenticated, and we want to make sure that the authentication ID of the user ID matches the node's user ID or any sort of content in the document itself or in the node itself. And we are checking whether the image itself is a type of PNG, for example. So in most security rules, this is the way you would do it. And in more complex security rules, you have really long lines where you will need to include here. So further down the line, it will look very messy. And let's take a look at what Firebase has added to help us with this. So now in the rules language version 2, we have the ability to support local variables. What does this mean? So it means that you can actually perform something like this. It is much easier to read and it's much more maintainable. So you would have a variable called authenticated that usually does the authentication check. And you also have other statements that you can add to add the check as well and combine them as such. It makes the code much easier to read compared to previously. So bear in mind, this is not JavaScript. This is the rules language code itself. So it is not Turing complete, which means that it does not perform 100% of the things you think it will perform in a Turing machine. So things that you expect to work in other programming languages doesn't mean it will work in the rule engines. So let's take a look at Firebase hosting tips. Right. So as a web developer, you would most likely have some sort of web app that you want to deploy, right? And one of the easiest options is to use Firebase hosting. Even the demo just now, the Dino game that you all played just now is also hosted on Firebase hosting. So let's take a look at one of a use case that is commonly requested by users. Is that they want to be able to deploy a test version of a site before it goes into production. So how do we actually do it, right? So let's say, for example, you have a website on the right? As before deploying to a tenant. In this case, you could have to help you out with that, or you have other ways to actually show your proposed changes to other people around you, like your colleagues or your boss, before it is approved. So what you can do right now is Firebase has just released a new preview channel feature. So it allows you to create links which are just previews that you can share with other users. For example, like this. How do you actually do it? Is that you can download the latest Firebase CLI, and you can actually write the following command. So if you want to deploy a channel, preview channel, use the channel deploy, and you can just put a name to identify what this change is about. And optionally, you can set the expiration time. So in this case, I want to expire it in a day. So after a day, the link is no longer valid. So this is a very useful tool to actually create links that can expire, and you can easily use it. So once it is deployed, you actually get the following results. So originally, when you have an app that is deployed, of course, this is based on your Firebase project. And on the right-hand side, you have is a preview link as shown here below. So this link, you can specify it to be a temporary link, as what we have shown earlier on in the command. And you can easily just share this link out to your colleagues and say, hey, this is the proposed changes that I want to make. Can you take a look and see whether this is okay? If it's okay, you can always promote it to production. It's pretty neat, right? So let's take a look at read and write optimizations on Firestore itself. So in most cases, we have received a lot of feedback from developers on how they can say that Firestore is expensive, or they are unable to manage the cost or worried about the cost results from reading and writing in Firestore. So some of you who have attended DevFest last year would have come across some of the stuff that I'll be talking about today. And please stay tuned as well, even to look at some other new stuff that I've included here as well. So let's begin with a real life example which happened last year. So we have a project here that is hitting a very high steep amount of reads. So this is basically the number of reads that is happening throughout the duration of the app running within a day, and this is number of writes. From this graph alone, you can see the number of reads is very disproportionate to the amount of writes, right? Why are we hitting almost 31,000 reads when we're just having a few writes? So this is very worrisome. You can see this trend increasing. And the daily quota limit is actually at 100K. So the next 100K, I think, is a few cents USD that they will charge. So we, of course, want to reduce our number of reads as much as possible. So let's take a look see some reasons why these read counts are high and how do we actually solve that. So once we see that kind of amount, right, we kind of panic. So we will need to have an emergency meeting, right? We want to see why is the reads so much disproportionate than the writes. So we will start to need to discuss among ourselves and figure out what is the solution, right? So I'm sure most of you are already familiar with these images, right? It's a very trending game at the moment. So I'm just riding on the train before it dies down. So one of the few culprits based on what we have discussed is that there are too many reads from Firestore compared to number of writes, which is rather obvious based on the chart that we have seen earlier on from the Firebase console. So let's take a look at an online shopping website that has the following features. So in our website, we have a product catalog where we can actually see all the products on our front page when we first load the app. At the same time, if you're an existing user, you will have a cart that you may have added items in it. And of course, as a user, you may have already a user profile with some of the previous orders that you already added. And of course, sometimes a website may have static information that can be displayed throughout, that is always needed inside the app. For example, what sort of product categories do you want to see in the app? What sort of ads do you want to show in the app? So most of the time in this example, all of these documents are being read immediately when the page loads. So based on this, you can actually see a problem with this. Why are we actually loading so much documents every time we load a single page? So let's take a look at how we can optimize it. So the first obvious way to optimize it is to load it and paginate what you need only with query cursors. So for example, on the first page of the website, most likely the user wants to see a product catalog, right? So this, maybe you can order the product catalog by maybe ranking or number of sales. And then you can stop actually reading data from all these three entries. So what we can do here is that only query what you need and paginate and so that you don't actually load everything. So in a product category, you can maybe have 20, 30 items or maybe a few hundred. In this case, most likely a user's device can only see 10 items maximum. So then it would be wise to actually just load 10 items. That way you are actually only fetching 10 reads instead of 100 reads, right? So this is one thing you can take note when optimizing your query. So this is how you will actually do it. This is an example how you actually create a query cursor. So of course, instead of getting all your products, we are actually limiting by 10 products that we need so that we're only fetching 10. And then we can, of course, check whether we have any of the next page by using by getting the last document available in the 10, which is the 10th document, and try to check whether there are any more items in the next time. So when we need to query the next page, only this is executed as such. So even after these changes and deployed, we still see too many reads from Firestore again. So what other optimizations that we can still make? Let's take a look. So here's a small eye exercise for you to see whether you can spot the problem. So in the earlier example, you have noticed this piece of code where I'm select the top 10, which is good. I'm only taking the 10 items that we need. And then we are returning the items to the UI. There is a problem here that we can still optimize. So take a look at it and see what you think. Maybe you can comment below and see what other changes, what other things you can see, what is wrong with this query. So if you don't know what's wrong, let's continue on with the next slide, and let's see what happens with this query. Why is this query problematic or further can be optimized? So let's say you have a product page, right, that loads 10 items, which is fine. Every time we load our page, your document read count is 10, right? Which is fine because I'm seeing 10 documents, so the read count is 10. However, if the person maybe goes to a different page and comes back, or from a different website and comes back, you're actually occurring another 10 counts. So now you have 20 counts, right? So the more the user refreshes the page, the more counts it will increase. So this is third time I'm actually loading the same thing. The amount of products displayed is exactly the same, but I'm still incurring extra 10 every time I'm loading the page, right? So further on, they refresh the page or revisit the exact page, your number of read counts will increase. So how can we optimize this in a way that we try to reduce the amount of read count? So earlier on, when I showed you this piece of code, there isn't really a problem with this code, but rather the usage of this code. So let's take a look, what do we mean by incorrect usage here? So now the get function, which is listed here, which is what we use to get the results, in the Firebase documentation itself, says that it will attempt to get the latest up-to-date data. And if the data cannot be gotten from the server, maybe due to an intermittent connection, it will get a cached value. So what does this mean? It means that Firestore will always get the latest copy from Firestore, so you will always incur extra reads, even if the data does not change. So if you're going to always fetch the same top 10 records out, even though the data is not changed, you're still going to cost you more reads. So how do we fix this? So to fix this, we can use something called this onSnapshot handler instead. So let's take a look what the onSnapshot handler does. It's almost the same as get. It fetches data from Firestore, but in this time, it actually caches the data, and it will not incur additional document reads from Firestore, even after you have refetched the data many times. This will not incur reads if and only if the data does not change. So imagine, based on the previous example, you have 10 records, right, that always doesn't get changed and is fetched multiple times. If you're using the onSnapshot, you only incur a maximum of 10 reads on that page, regardless of how many times you refresh the page. However, this cache will automatically get busted or cleared because it is outdated if you have new content that is being loaded. So let's say the 10 items are no longer the top 10 items to load. So now it will fetch another, fetch records that are different, and then you only incur additional Firestore document reads based on those new changes. So how do we actually change it? So the first part of code is right. You can now change, instead of get, you're now using onSnapshot to help you handle caching internally for you. So now we don't have, so every time you refresh the page, and if the collection doesn't change, you will always only incur the first 10 reads that you have made. So now let's take a look at the same example here on the same shopping website, but now we look at a different problem. Supposedly, we have now fixed this problem where the product catalog is always loading the short number of entries, and now we are not incurring additional reads. Let's take a look at some things that the website might need in the long run. For example, your static information. So we have a lot of static information we have here, and every time the page loads, we want to see the static information. Now, every time the page loads, we'll incur additional document reads from this as well. Of course, if you use the onSnapshot, you will only incur one document read, regardless how much you refresh. But let's take a look at a different way you can optimize this as well. So one thing you can do is that small or static, less frequently used documents can be moved to real-time database. And real-time database doesn't charge you by the amount document reads, but by bandwidth. So really small documents where the bandwidth is very small, you can choose to opt to move it to real-time database as well. So after all this optimization, we now see a more steadily inclined curve rather than early on where you went short up. So this is some ways that you can optimize for Firestore. So let's quickly go through real-time database. So this is a real-world example from a company called Prugly. So if you want to read the entire thing, you actually can read it from the link here. So they have released a product that uses real-time database, and this is the amount of reads that happened. That it went up at a very huge peak at a very peak time. So the usage is at 100%, which is not desirable. So let's take a look of what they try to fix this. So another emergency meeting is called on their team to try to scramble and figure out what is the problem that you want to fix. So the first thing you can try to do is to use the database profiler to figure out what are the read metrics looking like. So one of the few commands that you can use on the CLI is Firebase database profile, which will then record the amount of read and write operations happening on the site. So you turn this on and you go to your site and perform as what a user would do, perform a user journey on the website. And after a few minutes, you can press enter to stop. And this is some of the results you'll get. So I'm just showing you a truncated value here, which is the uploaded bytes returned from this command. So it shows me that I'm actually incurring a very large amount of reads, uploads to a product ID, a specific for some sort of product. So in a e-commerce website, you would actually have a very common path as this to write data to the products, right? So this doesn't actually help you at all because you don't really know which part of the product is having a problem, which part of your code is having a leak or doing unintentional writes. So what you can do is that you can try to segment your data. So the profiler is showing ambiguous results, and now we are unable to trace where the writes are coming from. So this is how typically you would use the real-time database. So you will have a product one, and then you will update accordingly. So for example, I want to update the product's name and description as a seller, and sometimes I just want to restock a product based on the quantity alone. These two results will actually show you this instead. So let's say you have a different part of the app that actually just updates the quantity. You actually don't really know which part of the code is problematic. So how do we actually fix this problem? So one of the few tips you can do is refer to the node field and use set instead of update. What does this mean? So instead of doing update based on the fields you want, you can actually do something like this, firebase.ref, and directly access the field that you want to change. So if I just want to change the name, you set it like this. If I just want to change the quantity, you set it like this. So this could happen in a different page, and this could happen in a different page. So if you run our profiler again, you will get this kind of result. So now it is much easier to trace problems. So now you know that, okay, it seems that the problem is coming from area of the code where it's writing the product name. So the quantity is working fine, but the problem now is with the name. So now you can drill down easier to find out where the problem lies, right? So victory. Now you have managed to reduce the number of reads and writes and optimize your database. So I think that's it. Thank you so much. For any questions, you can post on the comments.
Okay, thanks, Shang. That's a interesting talk. Yes. Okay, so actually we have two questions. If you have any questions, please ask now. So the first one will be this one. So how about multiple conditions?
So there are some restrictions in Firestore to actually daisy chain conditions. There are certain criteria that you can do and cannot do. So it is not 100% flexible where you can change different conditions. So I would encourage you to take a look at the docs and to see the limitations of what you can actually change, what you can actually chain and what you cannot. So mainly these kind of limitations is due to performance issues. So the Firestore team wants the Firestore suite of products to be able to load data as fast as possible. So there are certain restrictions in place that may prevent you from daisy chaining certain conditions, which you can take a look at the document. Yep.
Okay.
That's
Thanks
it.
for the answer, Shangi. So there's another one. So keep your answers coming. Thank you. What are
What are the
some advantages?
advantages of Firebase over Hive? I don't think I'm qualified to answer this for you. I haven't used Hive before. So the only thing I can say is that at least Firebase is running on top of the GCP environment, the Google Cloud Platform environment. So I would think Firebase would scale better in this point of view. However, I haven't done any sort of real comparison between both products.
Cool. Okay. Another question from Flying Chef. Flying.
So in this question, can direct field referencing work for Firestore too? Unfortunately, no. Only sub-collections you can. But in this case, there is no specific difference besides if we look at the point of view of optimization of your cost, because writing to a specific field, regardless of which field you try to pinpoint to, will incur an additional write. So it will actually cost you more to write two different fields separately than to just write one document directly, updating one document directly. Yeah, that is only for Firestore. Yeah.
Okay. So maybe we'll just wait another minute, see if there's any other questions. Let me just look at the questions.
Yeah.
This looks like a question, actually. Let me see. Maybe you can answer.
One of few ways you can actually try to reduce data duplicates is to have a background trigger on the cloud functions to help you duplicate this data. And sometimes maybe reorganizing your data in a particular fashion could help you out in this manner. So it really depends on case-to-case basis. But one of the few general tips you can try is to use Cloud Functions background triggers on every write to a particular document. You can, of course, incur a duplicate write as well to a different document if you need to. So this is one of the ways you can try. Of course, the other way is to actually organize your data into collections. But again, it really depends on your situation. So I'll maybe take a look at maybe in the future talk that maybe we can take a look at some examples of data organizing on Firestore. So if you have any of these kind of use cases, please do message me on Twitter. Yeah, so that maybe I can compile them and take a look and see how we can optimize it better.
Okay, cool. So there's another question from Flying Chef again. Keep the questions coming. There's an example that they gave.
The Firestore, the server value that I shown you just now is for real-time database. An exact copy of the same functionality is for Firestore is actually the field value, the server value increment. So it's basically the same functionality for both Firestore and real-time database. It's just the naming is slightly different, but it's exactly the same behavior.
Okay. So this will be the last question from Eng Titan.
How do you decide between conventional approach versus Firebase offering when you want to develop a new solution when cost is a constant? So one of the few things that you can do is take a look at what sort of app that you want to build and sort of think from and look at the user experience that you want the user to see. So let's say, for example, you're building a new e-commerce app and you already know what sort of features you want to show to the user and what sort of data you want to show to the user. And you can keep track of this kind of information. Like, for example, if I go to the products page, I know I will just load 10 documents per read. And what you can do is that you can actually calculate all those numbers and put it into the Firestore, Firebase pricing budget calculator. There is a budget calculator on the Firestore documentation that you can try to estimate your cost itself. So it is not 100% accurate, but it's very approximate to the cost that you will be achieving. So in my case, I think for the current cost is that your first 100K reads are free. Your next 100K cost you, I think, 13 USD cents. So the next 100K will cost you a few cents USD. So I think you can use the budget, the calculator to figure out how would it compare to having a server on standby and you're actually paying for your VMs that is running even though your traffic load is down. So there are a few other considerations that you will need to take into concern, as well as in how your products can scale accordingly, how much engineering time and resources you will need to take to scale something and serve your users. How much do you think those users, when using your app at a large scale, will affect your profits? And all of this you will need to take into consideration before deciding whether you want to use Firestore, which is already optimized for scaling in a huge segment of users. While conventional approach, you will of course need to fine tune your scaling approach, your scaling mechanism, and most of the time the scaling bottleneck is always drilling down to the database itself, which can be a headache for your company or for you and your engineers to figure out what is the best solution to move forward. So it is a cost and it's a balance for you to take a look between different areas, not just the technology itself, but also your resources to actually try to scale towards what Firebase can actually already achieve. So yeah, that's it.
Okay, yep. Thank you, Shang. So unfortunately, we don't have enough time for all the questions. So maybe Shang can answer in the chat, in the live stream. Yep. So thank you, Shang. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So our next speaker will be Nui. So Nui, hello Nui. Yep. Okay. Thanks, Shang. Bye bye. So Nui will be talking about mastering local first development with Firebase today. So Nui, you're muted. Yep.
Yeah, I've been saying a few things and
yeah. So I'll share your screen now. So yep.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Nui.
Thanks, guys. Okay, hello everyone. So today I come and talk about the way that you can use Firebase for your development in the making it to be like local first development process with Firebase. So a little bit about myself. I'm Somjintana Korbut, or you can call me Nui. I am a app developer where most of my experience would go to the iOS app, which I develop for like a enterprise company, and also right now I'm working with a startup company based in San Francisco to develop an app to protect the rainforest connection. So, but from the last year, I've been developing a lot of web and also like web-based desktop app with Electron in the part of my work. And I also being the Google developer expert for Firebase for a year already. Yes. So that's it. So I assume that everyone know about Firebase already, which is it's kind of a bunch of tools where it can help you to build the app without worrying about setting up the backend or the infrastructure. So there's a set of tools here, but this slide is really also, I think right now there's a lot of new tools that's missing from the slide. But yeah, the concept of Firebase is the on cloud platform that you can set up your app quickly, and there's a tool for you to help you to build a better app, improve app quality, and grow your app. So, and the thing that I mentioned is that it's all in real time, it's all on the cloud. That means like everything you change in Firebase, then it will go to the client in real time, and like everything is online connected together. But however, so the good thing about that is that you get started really easy on development, but the problem with the on cloud development is that sometimes when you want to change things, or when you're developing something on, like when you test and developing thing, then it might affect your production data or your data that you work as a team with other people, and your user will see that you break something in the database, so which is not the thing that we want it to happen. And as you test and develop, there's a chance that you will use up your free quota really quickly. As you know that Firebase has the free platform and also have the paid platform, but like if we use the amount of number we can, it's more likely that we're gonna need to pay something. So about that. And when you develop and you need to deploy, sometimes it's just like take time for you to only deploy only one function and need to wait for it and test. And the last one that is might not a problem anymore for this day, which is like the access to the internet all the time. But yeah, sometimes if your Wi-Fi broken, then it might be good. It might be a problem if you only develop on cloud development. So here's the your colleague or the user when you try to broke something in the Firebase production. And if you see in my Firebase console, even though I might not have like a lot of product, but I have a lot of project in Firebase console just to, like, every time I have the product, I need to set up two Firebase project for the production and for the development. So as a workaround that I can test and develop everything in the development project, so I'm not breaking the production data. But recently, I think last year or a couple years ago, Firebase have this tool, which is Firebase Emulator Suite, where it allows you to develop and test your Firebase products in your local environment, which work with the most common app that we use, which is Firestore, Realtime database, Cloud Function hosting, and also Cloud PubSub. So you can run this in your local machine, and also you can get access to this from your client, iOS, Android, or even your web or like admin server side. So let's see how it works. So it's let's say that box is the sandbox, is the local environment on your machine, and your client call to write to the file store in your local, and then it's triggered to the cloud function, and the cloud function write back to Firestore. And this happen in the box, so it's only happen in your local, and it's not gonna affect anything in your real Firebase project. So from this picture, you can see that everything that run on your local, every product kind of work together. It's not individual that we can test, but we can test the whole cost, like integrate everything, and then we can test our whole Firebase app on the local. And recently, a couple months ago, Firebase just launched the new UI, Firebase Emulator Suite UI, where you can see the everything, can visualize things that you test in local in this web page, which is with kind of like you move the Firebase console in your local. So let's just go to the demo that I plan to show you a couple of the use case that we might want to develop on local. So let's say I have this website that I built 8 years ago, where it show all the event, and then you can register for an event or unregister to attend the event. But like as you see that my data is very old and I want to update it, but I just want to test something first I don't want to like directly go update it in my console, so I just gonna do it in my local first. So the first thing I need to do is that to initialize the emulator in my project, which I can. Yeah, one thing is that you need to make sure that the function of the Firebase is more than 8.4.0 to be up to use the new emulator UI. So I'm good to go. Then I will initialize the emulator. And here you can choose the product that you like, which I already choose 3 of the things that I use. And now you can configure for the port, but I will just gonna stick to the default port that Firebase provide. And once you finish, then if you see in the Firebase.json, you will see this bunch of code where you can configure the port later if you like want to change your port to be something else. Okay, and now actually if you have like Firebase version 8.4.0, you can just run Firebase emulator start to start your local environment without doing the initialize. The initialize just add this in, and if there is nothing in here, then it will just gonna use the default port with it, which is this one of thing. So I got my emulator started. Let's just, and here it said will status and log at localhost 4000. So I go in here, and as you can see, it's just like Firebase console in your local. So it's in localhost, and the color of this is really different from the one that on the cloud. So in here you see the Firestore, you see everything, but like at the status of it, which one that we enable. So we're gonna go into the hosting to see our website on local. So as you can see here, the data here actually is the data from the cloud, because we need to configure something before we will be able to use the local environment database. So let me show you the data that I have in the cloud first. So in here, I only have like a information about the event, and then I have the attendee in array of attendee, which I only send like user ID and profile pic in here. Just for me to like easily querying this like really quickly. So, and so now we're gonna try to change our localhost database to link to the Firestore local data. So how do I do that? In the initialize step of your, like before you call the database, you need to set up the database, like link the host to be the local host. So here I check the host name. If the host name is localhost, then I will set up the database host to be my local Firestore one. And then when I save and try to run this again, then you will see that I don't have any event in my local, which is true. So I will just gonna try to add one event into my local database, which I have this script here to add a seed data into my database. So I will do that to add this data in here. So once it's finished, then my first test event is in the emulator. Then I just gonna load it. Sorry, and to do the so I got my new event that I just added, and with you can do the same thing in the iOS app, where I have got my iOS app here that use the data from the Firebase project. Then I can easily change to use the emulator by doing the same thing, which is like change the host and then disable the persistent to always fetch the new data. So I will just gonna change that in my view controller to enable local environment to be true, which will do this bunch of code here. So here I got the data from local as well. So it's that easy. All right. So after we have this data, then after we finish with the local thing, we might want to like save the data out to like export it to use it later. So as you know that every time when you terminate the emulator, it will remove all the data that you have already added. So it might be good if you can like export this set of data if you want to use it later. So you can do that by before you terminate this local environment, you can run Firebase export emulator export, and then you can provide the folder name that you want to save to. So I just gonna export my new data as the 2020 in the 2020 folder. Then I can run this code, and then actually I have this same folder here already, so I just gonna override it. And if you go to see the 2020 folder, it have this folder and also one JSON file, which is the metadata file. But some of you would think that so you have already implementing in the cloud and you want to test the data that you have in the cloud, like want to export the data from the cloud and then import into the local. So you can do that as well. But I'm not gonna go through the step for export the data from Firestore, which you can go read it in the Firestore document. But I have got this set of data here in my folder. It's called backup. This is actually the data that I export from a Firestore. And if you compare it with the local one, then you will see that there's this file that's missing from the cloud one. So I just gonna copy that file and then paste it in here. And the next time when let's say I terminate that my emulator that I run it earlier, so I close it already, and then I will run again with my cloud data. So I can just call emulator start import and then the name of the folder with its backup. So it's just gonna start up my emulator with the it's really slow. So okay, we got this now. Sorry, I'm rushing a bit. So yeah, after you run it successfully and you check in the Firestore, you will see that I've got 2 documents in here, which is the same as the documents that I've got in the cloud. So let's just see in here as well. So I have got 2 documents, and let's say I want to add a new one that to make my website a bit up to date. So I will just gonna call that seed data again to add my document. And if you see it in here, you see that my test data is in here already, which is as expected. But the thing that I didn't expect is that this description is a bit too long. So I will just show you that I will gonna use cloud function to shorten this description. So, and I can do that as well in the emulator. So in here, in the function folder, I just gonna write the trigger, like every time the document got created, and then I will update the description, shorten the description to be not over 140 characters into the event. So I will do that, and you will see here in the log that it's like you can debug it in here that the function, you can see the log here that you have the function initialized already. And then, okay, so after I add that function, I will try to remove this document and add the document again to see that I got the caption. Oops. Let's just only remove one document. And then I will run Node-RED again. And here you will see the log for like the function that my event got created. And then here I console log for like, okay, I will generate the caption. And the pretty cool thing that if you see in the database, you will see that my caption got created in here as well. So it just resize the description to be not over 140 character and add the dot into it. So if you refresh my client now, you will see that this UI is a bit better. So you see that we implement we can import and export the data that we already have in the cloud in here. We test the Firestore, and also we have implement the cloud function in the emulator, and then you see the log here. And let's go further as we have this environment set up, it's just enable it just makes things easier to test the security rule as well. Let's try to do the unit test for the security rule. So I'm not sure about someone else, but to me, like, and when we start the project, we think much about how to structure the data, and might not be like consider about the security rule at the beginning. And this is the kind of thing that we write in the rule to begin with, which is around everyone to read the data and only allow the user that authenticate that log into our website to write into the data. So let's just make it more secure. So let's see, I have written the unit test for my Firebase Firestore rule in here, which I use the Firebase testing SDK that Firebase have provided for me to for everyone to use to test their rule. So let's see what I have got in my unit test. The first thing is that unauthorized user can read event. So that means everyone can read the event. And the second thing, I don't want the authentication user delete the event, but just view the event and edit. And the next one, user cannot edit the event information. So to be able to, so let's see the structure of the database again. So in here, to be able for the user to attend the event, then they need to put their user ID and profile picture URL in here. So I only want the user to edit this field, not any other field. And then I will check that the user can join the event and also can unjoin, but they can't join another user to the event. That means they can't add any other user apart from themselves to the event. And also, if like the event has limited seat, they can not unjoin other user as well. So I have this test written already. And let's see with my current rule how my test doing. So I run npm test to run the test case that I have written with Mocha. So in here you can see that only 3 cases that pass is so the unauthorized user can read the event, yeah, and then some of it still fail. So let's do the first thing first. We want the authentication user to not be able to delete an event. So let's fix the rule. So here in the rule, we allow write, which it means that create, update, and delete. We don't want the user to delete, then we just gonna change this right to be update. And here, as you change the rule, you will see that the log has like instant load, so it's just really quick to test. So let's run test again. And now you see that, okay, the second one has passed already. And the third one, user cannot edit the event information. So as I said that we want to allow the user to edit only the attendee. We don't want the user to like edit something else. So with the new security rule, Map Diffs thing that Shang has already mentioned in his talk, then I will use that as well in here. So here I've got the function, the custom function to pass in the allow field. So, and then I will map the difference between request and the existing data with the affected key. And then I just gonna check that the affected key has only the allow field, which is the attendee. So let's just call it function. And then save. And you will see here it's like update really quickly. Okay, so that look a bit better. So I've got 5 test case cover. And then there's 2 things that I want to point out is so user cannot join other user to the event and user cannot unjoin other user. So we only want the user to add or remove themselves, not other people. So the thing that I will do is that I will check if the request has authentication. The user ID that user put in is the same as the authentication that they use, and also the profile pic as well. And here another function is to so I get the field from request and I turn it to set to map, like to see the difference between the field that in the request and the field that we have. And then that means the thing that change in here is the added thing, like the thing that been added. So if the size of added is 0, that means nothing is added, or the added has only the object that we want, then we will allow the user to update it. It's a bit long. So in here, field is the attendee. And then we will pass in the object, which is gonna be this object here. So I just gonna call the get user model and pass in auth request authentication. Okay. So now we can make this test pass, which is user cannot join another user to the event. And then this one is the same, but just swap around resource and request when we find the difference between them. If there is nothing in the resource, but there is thing in the request, that means it's removed. There's something that got removed, and and we check the same thing, that remove.site is equal to 0, or remove that has only the object that we want people to remove, then we will allow them to remove the data from attendee. So the same thing here. But we just gonna change it to be removed. And we run the test again. So everything passed. I think that would cover everything that I want to demo. Then let's go back to the slide. So a quick summary. Here's what you can do in the UI that maybe even the Firebase console cannot do. Is the cloud Firestore that you can clear all data in one click with this button. And you can import and export the data as I show you in the demo. And here is the way where you can export the data from the cloud, which you can go read in the document. I'm just gonna go through it quickly. And this is the real-time database, which you can like drag and drop the JSON, and you can do the filtering and advanced data editing in here, which I think is easier than the one in the console. And for cloud function, I forgot to show you this. So you can see the log in here as well, and you can search and filter the log. So summary of the local first benefit, which is the first thing is that speed is, you don't need to waste time for deploy, and so you can develop really quickly, and with the instant load and everything, then it just speed up your development process. And second is the security, which will keep your data safe until you make sure that you got all the rule and the everything covered for test case and everything. So you can do unit test and everything until you are sure that everything is correct and deploy to the server. And the third one is I think is the key feature of this is it's free, and you don't need to pay for anything to use this. And the fourth is that it's convenient. As it's free, you don't need the credit card or anything to enable your billing. And you can use, lastly, you can use the feature as a full feature. So you can connect to external service, whereas if you develop on cloud, you can't do that. So this is the bonus point for the starter who feel like didn't feel like to enable billing at first. So you can try to develop a local first, and then when you're sure that everything will work for you, you can just deploy later. And that's something that Firebase team has developed further, and I can't share yet. So if you want to keep update in this or try new thing before the launch, you can just join the Firebase Alpha program. And there will be Firebase Summit that will hold online on the 27th to 28th of October. So you can join as well. And lastly, so I think that's it for my presentation. If there's any question, feel free to ask.
Okay, thank you, Nui. Thank you for your
Thank you.
talk. Definitely learned quite a bit about local Firebase.
Mm.
So it seems like Shang and Jirawat has helped to answer some questions already. So I guess
Yeah.
if there's no other questions, we'll move on.
Okay. Sorry,
Okay,
it's take a bit so long.
it's okay. Thank you for sharing. So yeah, if you have any more questions, you can find Nui on this
Yeah.
that handle is for Medium, Facebook, GitHub, and Twitter, right?
Yes. So you
Okay,
can find me with this ID, or I can just come and talk to you in the YouTube live after this.
okay, okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Nui.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone. Bye.
Okay, so next we have Gerard. Hi, Gerard.
Hi.
How are
Hi,
you
Eric.
doing?
I'm
Okay,
good.
so right, Jirawat here has actually a workshop for us. So he'll be teaching about how to build a chatbot using Dialogflow. And yeah, so if you can't keep up, you can always pause the stream. Remember, this is a live stream, right? But yeah, if you have any questions, also just feel free to ask inside the chat box on the right. Yep, and we will try to answer that. Okay, Jirawat, I'll share your screen now. Yep.
Okay.
Okay, nice.
Okay, let's start. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jirawat Karanwittayakarn. I'm Google developer expert for Firebase, and currently I'm work for Line Thailand, the messaging app in Thailand. And today is my second talk with GDG KL. My first time talk with GDG KL was in 2017. And for today, I will tell you how to build chatbot using Dialogflow and Firebase. Before we start show you live coding and live demo, let me share you the stat from Thailand. Just a few weeks ago, I opened the survey to Firebase community in Thailand. And one question that I think related to this talk is about platform X Firebase that Thai developers use. Let me show you the stat we got from around 300 participants. So the first one is web is okay, but the thing that surprised me in this stat is chatbot. In Thailand, the people who use Firebase with chatbot is more than iOS. Surprised me. So today, the main hero that will help me to build the chatbot is Dialogflow. The Dialogflow is the conversational development platform that helps you build NLP chatbot without any of the machine learning knowledge. You can build the NLP chatbot by yourself and no need to do the coding. So if you ready, I will go quickly. So I have 45 minutes from now. I'm guaranteed that for 45 minutes from now, you will learn and get an idea how to build chatbot at home. So let's start. You can go to dialogflow.cloud.google.com to start using Dialogflow and just log in with your Google account you have. And next, okay, after you log in, actually you will not see this screen because I already have a chatbot. But if you are a new one and just dive into the Dialogflow, you will have to create the thing that called agent. The agent in Dialogflow is the chatbot. So just click create agent. I will tell you step by step. It's easy for you for sure. The first one, you have to specify the chatbot name, the agent name. I will specify BMI. My agent today is named BMI. And then the default language, you can specify the language you prefer that your chatbot can interact with your user. So for today, I will use English. Actually, Dialogflow support 24 languages around the world. And next one, you can choose the default time zone. And as I know, they will specify your time zone automatically. For me, I'm live from the Bangkok, Thailand. So right now, the GMT +7 in Malaysia, I think GMT +8. And the next one is Google Project. If you have Google Project, you can specify the Google Project you have here. Or if you don't have any Google Project before, you can leave it blank. They will create a Google project automatically after you click create. So for this demo, I will select the project I have, the existing one. And then you click create and wait for a few seconds. 1, 2, go. Okay, right now I am in the intent screen. So in the left-hand side, you will see many of the menu. Today, I will not mention all of the menu. I will mention only the necessary menu that can build my chatbot. So the important menu that you have to learn today is intents. The intents is something like a lesson learned for the people. Let you imagine the agent you create is like a baby. They don't know the baby don't know anything around the world after they born, right? After the baby born, and the intent is the lesson learned that help baby understand something that you intend to let the baby understand. So after you create the agent, you will got 2 default intent automatically. Let me dive deep into their default intent. The first one is fallback intent. You can click and go inside. The default fallback intent is the intent that let me show you an example. When your user type something, when your user chat something to your chatbot and your chatbot don't understand, your Dialogflow, your agent don't understand, they will go through default fallback intent. If you do, if you are a programmer or developer, it's like a condition else in the if else condition. Is it like an else? So if your chatbot cannot capture, cannot understand anything, they will go through directly to default fallback intent. And in the default fallback intent, the section that I would like to mention is responses. You can scroll down to the bottom one. You can see the responses here. The responses, there are many sentences inside, separated by line. So for example, you will see, sorry, can you say that again? Can you say, sorry, what was that? What was that? Or I missed that, say that again. So in Dialogflow, when they don't understand what the people said, they will randomly pick the sentence from here and reply to your user. This is a predefined intent. So the Dialogflow will provide you some intent here. And actually, you can add your sentence that will respond to your user here in the 13th line. For example, I will say, I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you mean. And after that, you can click save here. And every time you modify the intent, you don't forget to click save your intent. The Dialogflow will train the new data that you put into the responses and create the new model for you. Okay, this is a default fallback intent. Let me go back to the intent. The next one is default welcome intent. Let me go inside. In the default welcome intent, the section that I would like to mention next is the training phases. The training phases is the sentence that you will type to train your chatbot to understand what people will type, what people will say. For example, for the greeting, for the welcome intent, you will see the Dialogflow provide the sentence or word here, like just going to say hi. Hey, hello, hi there, greeting, hey, hello. All of these phrases mean greeting, right? So let's move to the section I told you before, the responses. When the people say hi to your chatbot, what the message you would like to reply to them. For this one, there are four sentences, sample 4 sentences that Dialogflow provide for us, like a greeting, how can I assist? Hello, how can I help you? Dialogflow will randomly pick some sentence from here and reply to your user. So let me try the demo. If you would like to try the demo when you put some new training phases or responses to the intent, you can try it in the right-hand side. In the right-hand side, you will see try it now. In the try it now, let me say hi in Spanish. Hola. Yes, the Dialogflow understand me. Hola, hello, how can I help you? Because in the training phrases, I think there are something like a hola inside. Or maybe Dialogflow can understand the common greeting word. You can specify the training phrase here up to 2,000 sentences or words here. If you can put or add various of the sentence here, it will help your chatbot more clever, understand the variety of the sentence in terms of greeting. So let me try to say Coca-Cola here. Coca-Cola. You will see my agent don't understand what the people type Coca-Cola. One more time, please. Right? The intent that will show you in the right-hand side is default fallback intent because my chatbot don't understand what people type, right? Okay, let's move back to the intent menu. So right now, I'm gonna create my intent. So my intent that I'm gonna show you today is about body mass index or BMI. The BMI where you will tell you your shape, right? Like you fat or slim or thin, for example. So the chatbot we are gonna create today is about BMI. So I create the intent here. After you click create the intent, the first thing that you have to do is you have to write the intent name. For this one, I will write BMI, like my agent chatbot name. So next is the training phases that I mentioned before. Right now, let you imagine what the sentence that people will type about the BMI. For me, let me try am I fat? Maybe people will ask, am I fat to my chatbot? Or am I thin? I am I am slim, for example. So like I told you before, you can put and add your sentence here up to 2,000 messages or word or sentence. So in this demo, I just add 3 sentences. Actually, in the production, it's not good, but this one is for demo. Okay, I add just 3 sentences. And next one, let's move to the responses section. I click add response. In the response, let you imagine when people type, I am slim, I am thin, am I fat? What the message you would like to reply to your user. For me, please give me your height and weight. And the second one, send me your weight and height. Because in the calculation of the BMI, we need weight and height from user, from them to calculate. So if you specify weight and height, please give me the sentence about the weight and height here, like this. It's okay, but in the programming, when you got weight and height, it's not easy for the programmer or developer to calculate because some people will send height in the meter. Some people will send height unit as the centimeter. So for help your developer easily to program, you should specify the unit here, like height and brackets cm and weight kg, for example, or in another sentence in in kg and in cm. It will help your developer a lot to detect the unit of height and weight. And if you're done, click save. And just wait a few seconds. Okay, let's try what we create, what the BMI intent does from here. Let's try hi. Okay, good day. What can I help? So am I fat? Am I fat? Tell me your weight and height. Weight in kg, height in cm. That's good. They understand. So you will see the BMI intent in the right hand side. The Dialogflow, our agent, can detect the intent. They understand. Okay. And next, let's move back to the intent. In the intent screen, I will create the next one, the next instance. Let you think about the previous message that that my chatbot asked user. Please send me the weight and height, right? So I will create the new intent, but I will not create the intent from here because I would like to leverage the intent inside the BMI. So Dialogflow allow you to create something like the name follow-up intent. You can move your mouse over the BMI and then click add follow-up intent here. And after that, the dialog drop down will show you. In the drop down, Dialogflow will provide you the predefined intent. But let you see the people gonna type weight and height from here. I think no weight and height in predefined intents here. So you can click custom here. And then the BMI that's custom intent will create it. So you will see the BMI custom is underneath of the BMI as the BMI intent as a parent right now. So go inside to the BMI custom. In the BMI custom, the next section in the intents that I would like to mention is context. The context is in Dialogflow, there are two types of the context. The first one is input context, and next one, the second one is output context. The input and output context is like a key that allow you to access to the next level of the intent. In this one, in BMI custom, we create via the menu. So the BMI follow-up as an input context will create automatically. So the input is BMI follow-up. Let me go back to the intent menu again and click to the parent BMI intent. So in the BMI intent, you will see the output context that's just generate automatically. BMI follow-up, the same name that BMI custom used for the input context, right? So is that mean if the people would like to access to the BMI custom, they need to send the output context like a BMI follow-up. Otherwise, they cannot access the BMI custom. So the next one is training phrases. In the training phrases, let you think back. My chatbot ask for weight and height from the people. So let's guess what the people will type in the chat room. So for me, I will type 170 cm and then 60 kg, for example. And you will see the color, the highlight color that shown you that cover the weight and height, yellow and orange. So this one is Dialogflow is the AI. They try to understand what the sentence you type in the training phrases automatically. They try to detect the orange one is width and the yellow one is length. And the fourth section I would like to mention in the BMI in the intent is action and parameters. In the action and parameter is related with the training phrases, that like a parameter that the Dialogflow detect before. So in this one, I will change the parameter name that help me easy to send to the backend side. I will change the yellow one to height, height, and the system unit I will change is to sys.number. This column, the entity is like a type of the data, and the value column you will see $sign height that you can use for programmatic or use as a parameter for the next section. And next, the parameter name, I will change the orange one to weight, and I will change the entity to number also. Okay, and you will see the $sign weight in the value. And in the BMI calculation, you need both of them. You need weight and height. You cannot calculate the BMI without any of either weight and height. So in the Dialogflow action and parameter, you can tick the required field that tells your agent that you need weight and height, and the agent will not allow people to access to the next level of the intent if the chatbot or the agent cannot get weight and height from here. So if the people miss sending you weight and height, you can tell them and ask for weight and height. So you can specify the sentence in the prompt here in the last column in the action and parameter. Click define prompt. So you can help people. We are telling them, please send me your height, or give me your height, please. The Dialogflow will randomly pick the sentence you type here to let people know what they miss sending you. Okay. Okay, height, and do the same thing with the width. Give me your width, please. Sorry. Okay, just one. It's okay. And next one, let's move back to the training phrases. Right now, you will you let your agent, your chatbot know which one, the yellow one is high and the orange one is weight. And we already tell people to send high in the centimeter and weight in the kilogram. So in this time, we don't need kg and cm anymore because we already told them to send this unit. So we can drag and drop the way the sentence you type here and help your chatbot grab only the number, because you see the related entity we set is this number. So for this method, for this tag will help your developer easier to program. And let me add more sentence. I will add 55 kg because only 55 kg, because sometimes I think some of people will not send both of them, weight and height, in the same time. Yeah, it is possible, right? So this one is the new parameter, the pink one, but you can help the Dialogflow to understand this one is weight by click the sentence you type and select weight. Okay, the orange one, and you can drag only 55. You would like to get the parameter value from here. So let me try more with height with 180 cm. The new thing, the purple one. Just change it to the yellow one. Okay, height from here 180. Help your chatbot, help your agent. Okay, from this demo, 3 sentence theory wording are enough. Let's move to the next one, responses. After people type weight and height, let you imagine what the sentence you would like to reply to user. So from my experience, the best practice that when you would like to get some input, some input that you would like to get the parameter and value from them, you should confirm the value and parameter you got to your user before you send it to your server side. So for this time, I will tell people your weight is, you can use $sign here, and you will see the autocomplete weight and height. You can select weight, and height is $sign and height here. Okay, this is an example sentence. I will reply to user to confirm the weight and height that user type is correct or not. Okay, after that, click save. Waiting for a few seconds. 1, 2, go. Okay, let's try it now. Okay, I will say hola again. Hola. And then I will try I am Bin. Send me your weight and height here. I will send my height is 162 cm and 56 kg. Send it. Yes. Okay. This is your weight is 56 and your height is 162. Correct, right? Let me try another use case that people only set weight or height, not send it. Don't send both in the same time. So let me try. I am too thin, right? And weight and height again. I only send 162 cm. You see, if your chatbot cannot detect your weight, they will prompt you the message like, give me your weight, please. They will not allow you to access to the next level of the intent. So you just type your weight here. Okay, they will summarize they will reply you the confirm message. Your weight is 56 and your height is 162. Okay, done. Let's move to loop back to the intents again. So right now we have 2 intent. The BMI intent as a plugin intent, and BMI dash custom is the follow-up intent and underneath the BMI. So the next one, let you think back to let's test the previous message. Your weight is 56, your height is 162, right? So next one, people, can you imagine what the people will type after your chatbot ask them? So let me create the next one, the next follow-up intent below the BMI custom intent. So people will may say yes or no, right? And luckily, Dialogflow already provide the predefined intent yes and no for us. You can click yes from here. So you will see BMI dash custom dash yes below the BMI custom, and add one more. You have to add one more no in the same level of the yes. So you have to move your mouse to the BMI custom intent and add the follow-up intent here. And add no. Okay, so right now we have yes and no. Let me dive deep to the BMI custom no first. In the BMI custom no, so you will see the input content is a BMI follow-up, right? Let me go back to see the BMI custom. The Dialogflow already generate output context for this BMI custom follow-up, the same name with the input of the BMI custom yes and no. So right now you can access to the no. And let's see the training phases that Dialogflow provide for us, the word and the sentence sample. Thanks, but no way, no. This is Dialogflow gets the people will type to the chat room when you are, this is your weight and height, right? And people will say no, nah. And like I told you, you can add more the sentence training phrases here, like I say no. And let's move to the responses section. Let you imagine if the people say, no, it's not my weight and height, it's not. So what do you want to reply them? For me, I will say, please give me your weight and height. Yes, again. Easy, right? And then click save. Just a few seconds. 1, 2, go. Okay, let's try. I will tell my chatbot I am thin. Send me weight and height. Okay, I will send you weight and height. And chatbot would like to confirm me my weight and height, right? Is correct or not? I will say no. It's not my weight and height. And you say no. The agent or the chatbot will tell you, please give me your weight and height again. When I type the same height and weight again, ideally, after I type my weight and height again, I hope my chatbot will understand, will grab weight and height for me. But in the reality, when I type my weight and height again here, let's see. I missed what you said. What was that? So you see in the right hand side, the intent will go through default fallback intent. Why? Let you think about why. Why then not go to the BMI custom that can grab your weight and height? So I will give you 10 seconds to think about it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, I will tell you the answer. Why when you type the weight and height again, why they not directly to go through the BMI custom? Because the BMI custom need, if you remember, BMI custom need the input content BMI follow up. So in the no in BMI custom no intent, you need to add the context BMI follow up to here, and then click save. It will help Dialogflow understand that you have a key to access to the BMI custom intent. So let me try it again. When I say I am thin, and I send my weight and height again, and I say no, please give me your weight and height again. I will send my weight and height again. And right now, my chatbot understand and can detect weight and height again that I send. So you will see the parameter the chatbot, my agent get the weight is 56 and height 162 as a parameter. Okay, let's move to the next intent. Actually, it is the last intent that I will show you today. The last intent that I show you is the BMI custom. Yes, let's go inside. In the BMI custom, you will see the first one. You will see the context BMI custom follow up context that as an input context that sent from the BMI custom. And next one, the training phase says the sentence or word that people will type after you are, this is your weight and height or not. People will say yes or okay, I will, or maybe you can yup and yep. You can add more than positive sentence or wording that lets people people will type. Okay, next for the action and parameter, we for the context you got as an input, you can get parameter in the previous intent from here, and you just specify the parameter name here, weight, and same entity you have sys number, and the value you can use hashtag and use the context you got as an input context and dot weight. Dot weight is the same name of the parameter in the previous intent, and add one more for height, GHT, and sys dot number, and hashtag BMI. Oh, sorry, hashtag BMI dot height. HHD. Okay, done. And response message. What the message you would like to reply them after you got weight and height, and people say yeah. I will say, wait me a moment. Yeah. Okay. Wait me a moment. For this one, for this instance, when people say yes, we will deliver both parameters weight and height to the server side. To delivering the parameters to the server side, you have to scroll down to the last section in the intent screen. The last section called fulfillment. Click to expand it and just toggle on for enable webhook call for the intent. If you enable it, the parameter you got from your user will deliver to the server side. And after that, click save. Okay, 1, 2, go. Let me try it now. So in this one, I will tell I fat, and I will tell my weight and height again, and we say yes. And you see the response message from my chatbot is wait me a moment. Okay, already done in intent menu in the left hand side. Let me move to the next menu, fulfillment, that we open in the BMI custom yes. In the fulfillment is like a programming part for the server side program that you can get the parameter from the intent and do some process and reply to your user. In the fulfillment, there are two kinds of webhook that you can create. The first one, you can toggle the webhook menu here. In this one, you can program in any language you prefer. You have to host your function or your code by yourself. And after that, you just paste the URL you create into the URL section, URL input. And please be reminded, the format data that you have to, that you're gonna reply to the Dialogflow should be follow the webhook requirement from here. You can learn the format of the replying message from here. If you reply just a text, Dialogflow will not understand what you reply. You have to learn the format for this. In this demo, I will not use the webhook. I will not host my API, webhook API myself. In Dialogflow, the next type of the webhook is inline either powered by Google Cloud Function. Previously, this menu powered by Google Cloud Function for Firebase that help you develop create a function with the Node.js here without any credit card binding. But right now, the Google Cloud Dialogflow changed from the cloud function for Firebase to the Google Cloud Function. You need to buy your credit card from here. And after you enable it, in this demo, you will not see the credit card dialog alert because I'm already bought it. But if you would like to start Elite from your in your home, after this, you have to buy it. You buy your credit card. After you buy the credit card, you will get a free quota of the cloud function request, around 2 million requests. That's enough for the development. Don't worry. Okay, let's enable it. You can program here. So after you enable the Enlighten, there are two tabs that you will see on the screen. The first tab is index.js. Index.js is the controller Node.js. You can write the function here. And next tab is package.json. package.json is where you can configure the function configuration here. Like for example, you can add the dependency you would like to use in the function. And what I would like to recommend you guys, if you would like to use the inline editor, you need to update the Firebase admin and Firebase function to the latest one. This is for compatible with cloud function you're gonna use. So for Firebase admin, how to know what is the latest one? You can type npm and Firebase admin here, and you will see the latest version in the npm screen, 9.2.0. Okay, I will change it to 9.2.0. Okay, and next one is cloud function. You can change Firebase admin to function, and you will see the latest version from here, 3.11, 3.11.0. Okay, that's all. And then move back to the index.js. In the index.js, you will see the sample code of the cloud function will import some dependency from the package.json. And the function that Dialogflow provides for you is Dialogflow Firebase fulfillment. Actually, I think Dialogflow team forgot to delete the Firebase name from here. So the function name is Dialogflow Firebase fulfillment. And let's move to the next part. And you will see they initiate something like initiate some dependency like a webhook client into the agent, and the agent they wrap all of the wrong command for you. You can use the agent for the short command. I will show you next. And next, you will see the sample function welcome and fallback. From here, define the function agent.add. Is mean, if you would like to reply some message to your user, you can use agent.add, and you can type the message here. The Dialogflow, the chatbot will reply this message to your user. So let me remove some comment from here, because I don't want to make it messy. Okay, and in the bottom, you will see the intent map function. The intent map, you see two lines of this, 26 and 27. I think you're familiar with it. For the intent map.set function, you have to specify two parameters. The first one is the intent name, default welcome intent. And the second one is the function name you define above. So for the BMI custom, yes, the intent that we talked on in about the webhook, I will open the comment in the line 28 and change the name of the intent. I can't remember because I do many times of the code lab from here to show people. So I know the intent name is BMI-custom and dash yes. And from here, I will create the function name BMI. And after that, just do the light thing, the thing that you familiar when you were a student, copy and paste. And here I change the name to welcome to BMI and agent.add. Okay, from here, I will show you how to get parameters that the intent BMI custom yes intent send to the server side. You can use you can define the parameter name first. Let wait. You can use agent.parameters.wait, and then you can define height as a parameter and use agent.parameters.height. And in the BMI, we have to use the height unit. We have to use height as the meter unit. Right now, people just send the height in the centimeter unit. You can use divide by 100. So the height right now is in the meter unit already. So let me calculate BMI. I will show you. I will define let BMI, and then the BMI param. Okay, BMI param, and we will use weight system calculation of the BMI. You can find the calculation of BMI in the Google, and then divide by height square, HEIGHT, x HEIGHT, and I will use only 2 position decimal to fix this 2. Okay, right now let you imagine now I got the BMI value already. So the next one, I will create some condition to calculate the size of the people. Give me a moment. I will find the condition in the search engine. Okay, let me go back. Okay, I will define the new parameter. The new parameter called result, and I just define the value is none as a default. And the BMI you calculated, you can add it to, you can create a condition to find the size of the user. You can find this condition in the Google also. So for example, if the BMI param is less than 18.5, it means you are too thin. I will set the result to XS. It's like a teacher site. It's easy to understand. And so lastly, let me go to the Firebase console. In the Firebase console, when you would like, let you think right now, I got the result as a teacher site already, and I would like to send teacher site to the database that in the Firebase and query the data, query the explanation of the size of the teacher to people. So let me go to Firebase project. In the Firebase project, you can go to console.firebase.google.com. If you create the chatbot with the existing Google project, you will see the project here. And if you don't create a new, don't create the existing project, you create a new one, you will also see the project here also. You don't need to create the new project for building chatbot using Dialogflow. So my project is Firebase Dev Day. I will go inside to my project. First of all, you have to go to the setting menu in the left-hand side and go to project setting. In the project setting, you will see the project ID here. My project ID is Fire-Dev Day. So if you would like to connect to your database, you have to import the Firebase admin dependency that we already import in the Firebase in the package.json here, Firebase admin. Firebase admin is the dependency that allows you to access to the database, to some feature of Firebase. So from now, I will import Firebase admin and initialize app like this. So this line, I will import the Firebase admin dependency to my function and use admin.initializeApp here. And in the configuration that you have to change is you have to find the project ID. And my project ID that I showed you before is Fire Dev Day. Let me check again. Fire Dev Day. Okay. This one is the method that you have to initialize app first before you access to the Firebase feature. And after you initialize app already, let me show you the database that I prepared for this demo. Let me go to Cloud Firestore menu in the left-hand side. In the Cloud Firestore, you will see the collection names BMI here, and you will see 6 documents that I prepared: L, M, non, S, XL, and XS. This is a teacher site that I just add the condition in the Dialogflow. So if you click some of the document, they will have the description that explains you what the teacher site mean. Like a S size, it means you are thin. Like a M size, it means you are slender, for example. So for the next one, I would like to query the data by the result I got from the condition. So in this one, I will use return, and then you will use admin instance and Firestore. Next, dot collection admin.firestore.collection, and you can specify the collection name here, BMI, and .docs. In the docs, you can use the result as a parameter and value you got, and then .get and .then. In the inline editor, if you would like, you cannot use the async await here. If you would like to use async await here, you have to use the webhook, the first menu in the fulfillment. In this one, you just use the callback, and then they will return document for us. Okay. And lastly, I will print the result from Cloud Firestore from the database. You can change here. It's okay. You can change it to doc.data. Let me see what field name description. Okay, description. Hopefully everything correct. Let me check again. Admin.firestore and click .collection, the doc.get, doc, okay, and add. Okay, hope is everything correct. And then you just place deploy. For the deployment, your function for your code to the Google Cloud function, it will take 1 or 2 minutes for this. So it takes a lot of time. If you would like to run your function in the real time, you can use Firebase Emulator suite, like Nui told you in the second session today, and you can generate the API and use like the tunnel to like tunnel to like what the name of the tunnel to. For example, let me check the tunnel to. For example, you can use NGRock. NGRock is the tunnel tool that help you open the tunnel from your local to the public. They also provide you the HTTPS protocol that you can use. Okay, let me see. Is it deploying? You just wait for the deployment. Let me go through the next menu. The function that you create and deploy to the Google Cloud function, you will also see this function in the function menu in the Firebase console. You can go to the function menu in the left-hand side. So the function you deploy is Dialogflow Firebase fulfillment here. Right. So after it finished, you can see, after you finish deployment, you can see the health of the function. You can see the performance, the error, and you can see all kind of logs from here. Any request will come to this logs tab. And you can also see the usage that you use in the cloud function. that will help you understand the budget that you have to prepare or the request you got from the user. Okay, let's move back to the Dialogflow. I think just 10 or 20 seconds, it should be finished. Actually, the first time deployment will take a long time, longer than the next deployment. Okay, luckily, the deployment had finished. Okay, so you see after you deploy finish, you will see the message live deploy on this end time. So right now, let me try the demo in the try now. I will tell I will ask Chatbot, am I fat? Oh, sorry, not only am I fat? Okay, send me weight and height. I will send them 162 and 56 kg. Okay, this is your weight and height, right? I will tell, yep, this is my weight and height, and see what the response from the chatbot. Yeah, wait a moment. Maybe we have to try it one more time because of catching. Let me try am I thin? And try with weight and height again and say yes. Oh, nay and nay. Oh, sorry. Oops, I think something wrong. Let me check the dependency here. Okay. And let me check the admin fire that day. Okay, should be correct. BMI here. Okay, should be correct. BMI custom, yes. And let this, give me a second for checking result from this Firestore, admin the Firestore.collection, BMI, doc, and result, get, and then doc. Okay, should be okay. Okay, let me try it again. Let me try am I thin again. Sorry for something wrong. Let me say yes. Oh, something wrong. If you do and that the fulfillment, your chatbot will not tell you the correct answer. You can see what happened in the console. You can go to log tab and see the latest log. Right now, 3 around in Bangkok, 318 around this. I think actually it should be good, but I don't know why my chatbot don't answer me correctly. Let me check it again. Oh, I think I found what's wrong. Let me go back to the code. So you see the BMI name, the parameter that I specify in my code is BMI param right now. And the previous one that I copy from the other page is BMI. We have to change it to BMI param. So right now, everything BMI param, I think, and try to deploy it again and take 1 more minute. Sorry, everyone, for my mistake. So wait 1 minute more than. Okay, hopefully it should be fine. So for 1 minute, in the meantime, I will take you to the Firebase pricing page, firebase.go.com/pricing. I think my time should finish not over 3:30 in Malaysia, 2:30, right? So in the pricing, let me explain you more about the Cloud Function packet. In the Cloud Function, if you would like to use the Cloud Function for Firebase today, if you would like to use the free plan for this, you can use only Node.js. But if you would like to use the Cloud Function in the product, in the base plan, pay-as-you-go plan, you can use Node JS version 10 or 12 from here, right? And you see the invocation, the request quota you got from the cloud function for free. You will get a 125K per month. And if you enable Blaze Pan pay as you go, you will get free up to 2 million requests per month. It's very different, right? So 2 million for me is enough for development. Don't worry about it. Okay, I think next 10 or 20 seconds should be finished, and hopefully it will go well. Okay, wait a moment. I'm not sure the chatbot momentum in Malaysia is popular or not, but in Thailand it's very popular. And I'm not sure what is the main chat app in Malaysia. I guess maybe WeChat or maybe I don't know, WhatsApp or WeChat, I don't know, or Messenger. But in Thailand, live messaging app is very popular, and you can also integrate the Dialogflow with the live messaging app or many apps in the world. Okay, try it now. Hopefully it will go well. Let me ask again. I am thin. Am I thin? Okay, I will send 162 and 56 kg and say yes. And an A, maybe catching. Try more, one more time. Am I fat? And weight and height, okay. And say yup. Whew, I think something wrong. So don't worry, I think maybe this is of my typo in the programming. Sorry. Say yes. Woo! Something wrong in my program. Sorry, everyone. But actually, my the Dialogflow fulfillment will tell you, will grab the explanation message from the cloud Firestore and will tell you. The last one, let me check what's wrong with me. Everything should go correct, right? None, BMI, this. BMI, the result should be here. Don't know what's wrong with it, but no worry. Let me move to the next part, integration. Let you imagine the chatbot return you correctly. Return you the message that you are thin or you are fat. So the last section that I would like to mention is the integration menu in the left-hand side. In the integration menu, after you create the chatbot, you can deploy your chatbot to many kinds of services around the world. You can deploy it to the web if you would like to add a chat box in the web, and you can deploy it to the Telegram or Slack or Facebook Messenger or Facebook Workplace or even live from here and many kinds of apps here. And that's all for me. Just create one chatbot and help user people in many kinds of services you use. I think this section you will get some idea, and hopefully you will get an idea and develop your chatbot at home. And we can't wait to see your chatbot in the future. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jirawat. That was very informative, very thorough. Thank you so much. So I guess there's not a lot of questions. Is there a place we can contact you if participants have questions?
Yep.
Could you share? Sorry.
Yeah, I'm ready.
If you wanna have.
Let me pick some question, or you will pick me some question.
No. I mean, like, if the participants have further questions, they can contact
Sure.
Twitter, or
you can contact me via Twitter. Yeah, Twitter or Facebook. You can search my name in the Facebook or Twitter.
Nice. Okay, thank you so much.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Okay, here's Shang. I think we'll just do a quick outro. So thank you so much for staying with us until for almost 4:30 Malaysia time. And I hope you learned a lot today. And for those watching in the future, thanks for watching. Even this is over, you still watch. Yep. I don't. Anything else to say from speakers? Nope. All
Nope.
good.
Nope.
The dino game was really fun. I hope you get something like this next time again. Okay. Yep. I think that's it. Maybe I'll just do a quick shout out of what Google Developer Group Kuala Lumpur is doing right now. So right now we actually have this GCP wallet running. So just go to the link, and then if you finish and collect badges, we will give you some swag like tumblers. There's a cap. There's a shirt, and if you finish 16, I think you can get a laptop bag that looks really nice. Yep. So just go to the link. If you want time, just pause the video. And then after this, next week, we're actually doing this with a bunch of other communities, right? So next week, we have GDG Singapore and WTM Kuala Lumpur to talk about their stuff. So those are the links at the bottom. And then after that, 31st, we have Google Cloud from GDG Cloud Singapore, and then Android from GDG Singapore. And finally, the last one will be Google Business Group from Georgetown and Flutter for Women Tech Makers Georgetown. Yep. So that's it. Thank you so much for coming.
Eric, a moment.
Yes.
Right now it's work properly. My chatbot work properly because of caching. If you can share my screen for 1 minute, I will show you the demo.
Yes, no problem. Happy to.
Okay, let me show you. Already?
Yep.
Because of caching, that you see that my chatbot cannot bring the data from the Cloud Firestore to show people. So right now, I think the class was queued by Dialogflow already. Let me try it again. Am I fat? And I can say 162. And there I say yes. Hey, you see, you are thin right now. Yay! Finally. Okay. Thanks for watching.
Thank you so much. So thanks for joining us. Maybe we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye. Thank you.